gasoline I smell?
Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you all are doing amazing as always, and it's me, Joe, as always, and welcome to my review of Beau Is Afraid, the new Ari Aster movie. Now before we get into it, guys, hit that like button, or if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. And now let's talk about Beau Is Afraid. Now I really do have to say that I was like beyond excited for this movie, just because I absolutely adore and love the first two Ari Aster's movies. Both Hereditary and Midsommar, both of these movies are really good, but I especially do love Hereditary. I think that movie is perfection. It is really good. Just the way Ari Aster works in terms of like building up atmosphere and scares, it just works so well, and it is like genuinely scary. Like Hereditary, in my opinion, is like a genuinely scary movie, and it is definitely in like my top 5 when it comes to horror movies. So I was really hyped for Beau Is Afraid, to be honest, and I had no idea that this movie is 3 hours long. Like, what? I thought, before seeing the movie, I thought that this movie is gonna be like maybe 2 hours long. But no, this movie is genuinely 3 hours long, and you can feel it. Now, I feel conflicted when it comes to Beau Is Afraid. Now, first of all, I really do have to say that Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in this movie. Joaquin Phoenix is a really good actor. I really like him in Joker. And here he really proves that he's, genuinely a good actor. Now, this movie is about Beau, portrayed by Joaquin Phoenix, and he wants to visit his mother, and that's essentially what the movie is about. Now, the first third of this movie, or like the first hour of this movie, let's say, feels like a normal Ari Aster movie, like Hereditary or Midsommar. That's how the first hour of this movie feels, and I was really enjoying it. Joaquin Phoenix, amazing, the sets, amazing, everything was so good, alright? Also, I think that this is also because this is the most expensive A24 horror movie. We'll get to that, it's not really a horror movie, but it is the most expensive A24 movie they put out. And the budget for this movie was about $50 million, and that's quite a lot of money for, A24, right? And so everything looks really good, and, with Ari Aster's aesthetic, it all just looks really good, and you really want to see more of this new world that he created here. Like, it all just looks really good. So the first hour is essentially like a normal Ari Aster movie, right? It works really well, it looks really good, it is sort of like bizarre and scary, and you laugh a bit, and you sort of expect something really interesting to happen. The thing is that this movie is really weird, like really weird, even for Ari Aster. If you think that Hereditary or Midsommar are weird, like, this movie is like beyond weird, I feel conflicted because I was so excited. I was just so hyped to see Beau Is Afraid, but this movie just doesn't really work for me. Just because this movie gets into territories and gets into stuff that is just so bizarre that it sort of like lost me in a way. Because again, the first hour of this movie just works so well. Like, I was just like, what? I was just like, wow, this is just so good. Like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. Like, I want to see. I don't care how long this movie is, but the movie then turns out to be this sort of like dreamy, schizophrenic almost experience, and it kind of lost me, honestly. This movie is just too long. I'm gonna be honest. I I don't hate long movies, just so you know. I absolutely don't hate long movies, okay? I was able to sit through Avatar: The Way of Water, okay, and that movie was over 3 hours long, but I was so mesmerized by the world that James Cameron created that I had no issues watching that movie. But with Ari Aster's Beau Is Afraid, I was kind of bored, and I was like, I wasn't feeling it, you know? And it's disappointing because I love his first two movies. Like Hereditary and Midsommar, they're both amazing movies, amazing horror movies with amazing characters, atmosphere, scares. They just work so well, and I feel like that this movie just doesn't work because it is 3 hours long. Like, this is a really long movie, and you'd really have to be really invested in the movie to just be entertained for the whole 3 hours. And again, I do like, okay, I want to say that I do like the first half of this movie, so about the first 90 minutes. I think those 90 minutes are amazing, okay? But the second half of the movie, and especially the last third of the movie, they are just so bizarre and so over the top and so out there that I was sort of like losing my interest as I was watching the movie. And that's not something you want to happen when, you know, you're watching a movie. You want to be invested the whole way through. And I feel like that if this movie would have been 2 hours long, it would have fixed all the issues for me. Like, literally all the issues. But this movie is not 2 hours long. This movie is 3 hours long. And it is just too much, honestly. I really wanted to like this movie, man. I really wanted to like this movie just because I love Ari Aster and I love his work. And I do like the first half of this movie. But I feel very conflicted when it comes to the second half of this movie and the last third of the movie. It's just too bizarre, too out there, too nonsensical in a way. And I completely get the movie, you know, the message, and I think that's good. But the issue is the length, you know. I think that sometimes just making movies that are like this long is just not good, you know. If this movie was 2 hours long, I would have loved it. I would have loved it. I really think that as a 2 hour movie, this would have worked so much better than as a 3 hour movie. Because the story of this movie, just so you know, the story of this movie and the message, if this movie was cut down to 2 hours long, it would not lost any of its meaning, okay? So, yeah, guys, this is my review, my non-spoiler review for Beau Is Afraid. I like parts of this movie. To be exact, I like the first 90 minutes of this movie, okay? The first half of this movie. And I really do feel like that if this movie would have been just 2 hours, I think a lot of people would have loved this movie, okay? But I feel like as it stands, you know, being 3 hours long, I feel like a lot of people are gonna hate this movie, you know? And that's sad because there is a good movie in there, you know, but it is just too long, you know, and that's, you know, I feel like that the studio, maybe like someone from A24 or, you know, the guy that was, you know, someone who worked with Ari Aster on this movie should have told him that 3 hours is just too much, you know, because if this movie was 2 hours long, it would have worked perfectly well. It would not lost any of its meaning, and it would be, the flow of the movie would be better. Overall, it would have just been so much better. But yeah, guys, this is my review of Beau Is Afraid. Let me know down below what do you think about Beau Is Afraid, because I was so excited to see this movie, and Joaquin Phoenix is just so good in this movie, but the length of this movie just kills the movie for me, honestly. So yeah, guys, these are my thoughts about Beau Is Afraid. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care as always, and bye.